So our next speaker has become one of the most recognizable and courageous doctors in America, a man who refused to bow to fear, censorship, and intimidation. Dr. Ben Tapper has traveled the country reminding people that faith is greater than fear and that freedom and truth are worth defending at all costs. He's been featured in documentaries, national news, and countless events inspiring millions to stand firm in what they know is right. Please help me in welcoming a true warrior for truth and medical freedom, Dr. Ben Tapper.
Thank you for that. It's good to be here. It's good to see you guys. The soil for truth is rich, safe, and effective. When I hear that, I think of a bumper sticker slogan. I see this chart to my left, the vaccine schedule in the 60s and the 80s. I want to see the studies that show that all these vaccines given on this schedule, collectively given at the same time, is truly safe and effective. You see, this whole vaccine philosophy is getting uprooted as we speak. Thank the Lord for that. I can't help but think how spiritual this is. We had the 2019 vaccine summit. They took out "In God We Trust" and they replaced it with "In Vaccines We Trust." If that doesn't convict you, I don't know what will. I want to read something to you. If I told you that my child was injured in a car accident, you'd be compassionate and worried. If I told you it was because the brakes failed, you would be shocked and appalled. If I told you I found out the manufacturer decided not to bother testing the brakes, you would be mad and you would tell me to sue. If I told you I found over 60 studies showing that they knew they would fail and opted instead to cover it up, your head would spin. If I further told you that the government knew all along about the dangers and laws were passed to prevent anyone from suing the manufacturers, that there were hundreds of thousands of injured and killed children, you would be beyond yourself trying to work out how to help these children. But replace the word car with the word vaccine, and you would run a mile. Why? Think about it. Because this is the truth. Millions of parents are fighting each day just to be heard. The evidence is beyond question. Vaccines are not properly tested, and hundreds of studies show the connection between vaccines and seizures, injuries like neurological damage, delays, Guillain-Barré, and death. And this is besides the high rate of life-threatening allergies, asthma, cancer, chronic ailments amongst the vaccinated children. Where are the recalls? Where is the demand for answers? Where is the public outrage, and when is enough enough? 1 in 3 children right now, 30 to 40% of our children are obese. 1 in 6 has a learning disability. 1 in 9 has asthma. 1 in 10 has ADHD. 1 in 12 has a food allergy. And 1 in 20 has seizures. Over 50% of our children are suffering with a chronic disease. Are the children truly healthier? You see, this whole vaccine philosophy believes that our body is inherently deficient, weak, and flawed without these vaccines. When I see this vaccine chart, I don't see anything that promotes health. In fact, there's not a single nutrient in these vaccines. We are in a time where the government is censoring the truth. Crimes have been committed against humanity. I am living proof of that. I was labeled one of the so-called disinformation dozen by the government during COVID. They censored me, silenced me. They did a smear campaign saying there's only 12 of us, and there's more than 12. George Martin said, when you cut out a man's tongue, you don't prove him a liar, but you are fearful of what he has to say. I firmly believe that the tides are turning. I'm encouraged by the quote by Sam Adams. He stated that it doesn't take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority keen on setting brush fires of freedom of the minds of the people. We are that irate, tireless minority. And enough is enough. We have over a 30,000% increase in the rate of autism since the 1980s. If that doesn't send a shiver up your spine, I don't know what will. They claim that autism is genetic. There is no genetic test for autism. It is based off of behavior analysis. It is diagnosed off of behavior, not biological markers like a urine test, a scan, a brain scan. It is based off of behavior. So you're telling me the lie that autism diagnosis has improved to equate to over a 30,000% increase in diagnosis? That is a lie. And I'll give you a hint. It has nothing to do with Tylenol. Vaccines light the fire, but Tylenol throws the fuel. Make no mistake, these vaccines are causing astronomical harm in our children. And the data is clear. The unvaccinated children are healthier. They're sick less often. They have less allergies, less neurological developmental delays, disorder, demyelination, degeneration, and death. Look at the SIDS rates. I interviewed a lady that was on the Special Forces unit for over 7 years. She was, her main case was to investigate SIDS. And she said every SIDS case that she investigated had a vaccine shortly there prior to their death. What does that tell you? It tells me that we're beyond a debate here. We are at a point where we need trials. These people need to be tried for crimes against humanity. Again, this is not an opinion. This is not a debate. I'm calling for justice. Enough is enough. Your voice matters. My convictions are greater than my fear of complacency, greater than my fear of persecution. I don't do this for publicity. I do this because I care for the children. I care for the health of our children. They are the victims here. And you people being here today are heroes. You are on the right side of history, on the right side of truth. And we never know how far-reaching something we may think, say, or do today will affect the lives of millions tomorrow. So I encourage you to get louder. The time is now. This whole vaccine philosophy, again, goes back and thinks that your body is flawed. If I took all the doctors in the allopathic world that is pro-vaccine, they would look at this wilted plant and they would say, hey, we need to cut off the leaves and medicate and vaccinate the plant. But if you give that plant water, it can be well. Your body is no different. I firmly believe and know full well that your body's ability to overcome disease is far greater than our government, Ouchie Fauci, Bill Gates, has permitted you to believe. If you give the body what it needs, it can be well. So the time is now. The soil for truth is rich. I heard the doctors speak on change. I heard change numerous times. Well, we need to take the reins of that. Staying complacent in the times that we're in, staying silent in the times that we're in the face of evil, is complicity. Edmund Burke stated that the only thing for triumph of evil is for good men and women to do nothing. So I encourage you, we are there. I'm encouraged now more than ever before. People are waking up, and the soil for truth is rich. God bless you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ben Tapper. How blessed are we to have this guy come out. Let's give him another round of applause.